What's going on, guys? Randy back with another video, and today we are going to be showing you guys how I personally tape my hockey stick. So the first things that you're going to need is your hockey stick, your favorite color tape, I guess, for like the knob, your tape that you like for your blade, and then your hockey grip tape, which goes around, basically my knob, and then some scissors. So today we're going to be taping my Warrior Covert QR1. It's Andre Schuster's Pro Stock Hockey Stick, as you can see there. So it's kind of big. Had to get it cut just a little bit. It was a little bit longer than this, so I just cut it down to the blue, how I like it. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is I like to get my blue tape, because that's what I use for strictly the knob of my hockey stick. And I'm actually just going to pull it off a little bit. And you're going to want to try and get the most center of it and just cut it like so. And pull it back like this. So you just have like half of it. Sorry, my dog is just being crazy. So you have half of it. So you're going to take the end of your hockey stick. I'm going to try and get this on there. And basically, I do it around 4 or 5 times per go around. So that worked perfect. So just like that. So the reason I don't like to have a huge knob on the end of my stick is just because it wastes, to me it wastes part of it. Oh, that was great, right on the blade. It wastes a lot of tape versus this one. If you do it, it doesn't waste as much tape. I'm trying to keep this from hitting the floor as well as doing this. I don't even know around one. I think I want 2. I'm going to do around 5 per thingy. So I'm going to stop about there, and then I'm going to cut it so you don't lose your scissors. Where did I put them? Oh, right there. So we're going to cut it. So then you have basically a little bit off of it. I did that one about 5 times personally. And then you'll just take your other half and you'll start where the other one ended, basically. And then if I can get it to stick. And then you'll go around until your tape is basically meeting where it's even with the other half, so you're not wasting any more tape. And these are all personal preference on how people like to tape their stick. I usually switch my knob up every once in a while. Just there's other things that I like to try, other people's videos. Give you different insights on what people like to do with their sticks. So, alright, so now that it's about even, I'll show you guys with the tape, with what you want. And I have this kind of overlap at the top. You want to cut it, hopefully, as close as possible to the thing, and then you want to just make sure that the knob is basically secure. So as you can see, probably don't want to hit that actually. So as you can see, I'll just do it this way. It's basically on there. It's a little overlapping the top because my my plug's not too secure in there, and I like the plug because it has the lightning symbol, as you guys can see. So now what I do is I basically tape it a little bit longer. For me, preference on this stick, in like general, is I tape from about here to about right where the W is on Warrior. just because it's a little bit longer, plus it's not covering up any of the cool graphics that are on this Covert QR1. So again, blue tape, try and get it off of there. And I actually, just because I used that tape to do it, there's like a split in it, so I just take that off and throw it off to the side. Alright, so now I get my blue tape and I put a little bit over the, here, let me get closer, show you guys. So I get a little bit over the knob as well, just to make sure that that tape doesn't come undone. And I go around once like that. And then I try and come down from it. And that's when I start my downward spiral. I'm actually doing a little bit too much. And I like to do a little overlap, it gives it that cool shape. And I like to do blue as of now just because my hockey grip tape is white. If I had blue hockey grip tape, I'd use white tape, so they just didn't have any blue hockey grip tape, so got stuck using what I'm using. And hockey grip tape is just optional, you don't have to use that, but you can if you prefer it. I started using it. I'm not going to say it helps out a lot, but you know, something once you start you kind of either stick with it or you don't, and I've just stuck with it these last few times of games of hockey. So obviously my knob is getting kind of long on the hockey stick. Actually looks a lot better than my other stick, to be honest. But and then I go around about once. I think that's good enough. I'll go around about once at the end, and I stop it around the back. So just like that. Let me cut this real quick and I'll show you guys. Kind of uneven, but oh well. Alright, so I stop it right around the back. I try to make sure that the bottom right here is just all flat together. So that's basically how I tape my knob without grip tape. So if you don't like using grip tape, you don't have the access to getting grip tape, that's just how I tape it. So now that I got that done, ooh, that's my white tape. You take your hockey grip tape, and this does not stick to your tape. This is like gauze. It sticks to itself mostly. So you take it off. Let me see if I can get this up here. So you take it off, and the first time I wrap it around twice. Everything I do with gauze is twice because it's not, everybody likes the squishy feel of it, but it's not that squishy without the double layer, I feel. It's not as useful. So I go around once right here. Once you get it to stick, you're good. And then once I get that one lap around, I go down, and then I just start going, how did I do this last time actually? I just start going around where I overlap at least once each time. So I usually go flat on the back and then overlap, flat on the back, overlap. I should probably just do it this way. Flat on the back, overlap. So you're basically doing it twice, but you're also overlapping like once each time. So you're basically making the downward spiral that I was doing last time, but you're overlapping about halfway so that it keeps the double amount of hockey grip tape over it. And once you get to the bottom, I always leave my opening a little bit just to show people the blue. I do about once down here, all the way around. There we go. And then I cut it on the back. I'm already almost out of that. That was quick. I just got that. Once you got that, you basically have your knob done for me. you have the little bit of blue sticking out. Professional players like to use white tape and then put their number on it or their name just so they know right off the bat. Somebody's like, oh, he broke his stick, he needs a new one. Another thing I like about the gauze is, as you can see, there where my knob is basically is about almost even with the gauze, so that I can still feel it, but there's not as thick of a gap. So if I put my finger up there, it's easier to stick handle and stuff like that. So that's how I do my knob. Let's move right on into my hockey blade. Alright guys, so for the hockey blade I use white tape preference. I've used black tape before, but I've used colored tape as well, but the white tape kind of just looks really clean, a lot better on certain sticks. So I basically do a Steven Stamkos type tape. If you don't know what that is, you start from the heel of your blade, you go all the way to the toe, and then all the way around the toe. So there's basically none of your blade is sticking out other than the back half. This is all preference. Some people will tape it halfway up over the toe. Some people will tape the whole thing but not the toe. It's just basically personal preference and how people like to do it. So, I don't know what they're doing. Basically, I want to say I start around the W. It's really hard when you first get a new stick to find that spot, but I'll start around the W on this one just because. I always start on the back and then I go around once, cover half of that, and then basically from there on out you just go about a third with the tape over it so that there is a little overlining. I feel like it looks a lot better than without that. And I am very very particular about my tape. If I don't like it, then I will more than likely take it off. And just go all the way around it, as so. I don't know why she doesn't do that right now. I know I'm like way up there with it, but that's because how tall the stick is. I'll try and keep it low. So I'll get to about the toe, and I do it a different way. Some people will just keep their tape going, which is, I don't know, I changed up. I do it and I don't do it, but right now it's going to be definitely harder. So I get to about the toe, and I'll probably do it once right here, just to make it 4 even pieces. You get to the toe and you come over, and you basically overlap it like I just did, so that there's a little part that hangs off. You basically pull a little bit more, push it down together, and then pull down. This will make sure that there's no slits on the end of your stick when you are doing this. So cut that off, and then before I do that, just to not mess up my tape, I rub it down with my hand. Some people wax their stick. I don't. Never did it. Will I change that? Probably. I've never done it, so if I try it once, like I said, I usually keep doing what I'm doing to keep scoring, keep playing. Alright, so no, that's gone. Oh no, it came back to me. Oh. So basically you're going to pull off a few strands. I cut them off as needed, just so I don't have too many, and you're basically going to lay it on the end of your blade where it still covers that 1/3 of the last piece of tape, but it also should overlap so that you have to cut a piece off. Usually it's around 4, sometimes it could be 6, just depends on how far back you stop your taping. So just again, make sure you know it'll go over your tape or your stick blade. You're going to get it, you're going to cut it at the very bottom. This is so much harder to videotape than people think. So, you get your stick blade, just like so. Oh. And then you'll basically put the tape over it 1/3. Just like that. And you'll do that all the way to the end of the stick. And I will show you guys how to cut it. If I can just stop messing up here. And the farther on the stick you go, it should be less and less amount of tape that you should have to use, just so you're not using up all of your tape. Alright, that one, and then I got one more on the back side. I gotta do one more. I don't need as long of a piece of tape, so I'll just cut that off. And then, after doing that, again, I rub it down. You can use your tape roll and just rub it down. Some people use a hockey puck, they like it marked up. I like my tape clean. If there's any holes in my tape, I will switch it out. Even if it's the smallest of a hole, I'll switch out the tape. But I'm kind of weird, so I like clean tape, but I also like it with a little bit of hockey puck marks. But if there's holes in it, I won't keep it. So, all right. So now once you pinch over the whole time, get your scissors. You want to cut around it without making an incision in the bottom, like or on the actual tape that's on your blade. For me, I don't like to have my tape or any of my blades showing. Even though, like, if people like watch TV and stuff, you'll see players with like half their blade showing, their toe of their blade showing. I don't like any of that. I try and keep as far from that. But I do kind of want to start changing up what I do every once in a while. Try a new opinion, but for me, hockey sticks aren't cheap. This one definitely was, but hockey sticks, $300 hockey sticks, $200 hockey sticks are not cheap. So I try and get the life out of them that I can use. And that's how you tape the knob of my hockey stick that has fur on it. That's cool already. And the toe of my hockey stick. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button.